Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the visiting Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena at the Hyderabad House in Delhi. President Sirisena is on a 4-day visit to India. This is also his first foreign visit after assuming power, and that is extremely significant. President Sirisena was accorded a ceremonial guard of honor and reception at the Rashtrapati Bhawan. He paid homage to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, at Ghat. There are a number of agreements that are expected to be signed once the delegation level talks are over. This is over a working lunch. They will conclude in a short while from now. 4 agreements on culture, agriculture, Nalanda University and economic cooperation are on the cards. In the evening, President Sirisena will meet President Pranab Mukherjee, who will host a banquet in the honor of the visiting Sri Lankan President. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will visit Sri Lanka in the first week of March to lay grounds for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's proposed visit to Colombo. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to travel to Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius and Seychelles in early March. This visit by Sri Lanka's new president is being seen as a golden opportunity to rekindle and strengthen India-Sri Lanka ties. After Sirisena defeated Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa in elections last month, India has been hoping that the new government will develop much warmer ties and will work to find a permanent solution for the Sri Lankan Tamils. India is also expecting the new Sri Lankan president to look afresh into the issue of the fishermen and strike a fine balance with ties with China as well. President Sirisena, after dethroning President Rajapaksa, former President Rajapaksa, has already indicated he wants to have closer relations with India. Joining me now for more is Deputy Editor Smita Sharma. Smita, India-Sri Lanka relations all set to be taken to the next level and not just China-centric.
Absolutely, Gaurav, because there are several areas of interest, of course, that both the countries share. Of course, that important maritime boundary as well. I'm in fact here in Hyderabad House, where the stage is set for the media statements to be made both by Prime Minister Modi and Sri Lankan President Sirisena in around 15 to 20 minutes from now. We will also see signing of a couple of those agreements that you mentioned, especially in sectors of science and technology initiatives for agriculture, cultural cooperation in terms of Nalanda University, and also enhancing economic ties, because the two leaders in fact first met in a restricted format at around 12:15 and which lasted for almost 50 minutes, and now the delegation level talks are still on. But clearly, when Sirisena, he of course won that election, that decisive mandate coming in on 8th of January. Yes. Through the election campaign, he had maintained that he would treat both India and China as equals and that he would not warm up more to one compared to the other. Yes. But there is definitely much more energy in terms of the relationship with this new regime coming in Sri Lanka now. Gaurav?
As far as the issue of devolution of power for Tamils is concerned in Sri Lanka, also the issue of Indian fishermen, how do the two governments intend to move forward on those fronts?
Look, there is a change in the atmospherics and in the mood right now, Gaurav, because, for the first time in almost 10 years this has happened, that when a Sri Lankan president is visiting India and you really don't see the Tamil prominent parties taking to the streets, protesting, as they would always do with Mahinda Rajapaksa, accusing him, of course, of that entire, the Tamil genocide in a way during the civil war, in fact, that Sri Lanka was caught up in, especially the wartime allegations of 2009. But, Sri Lanka here, Mr. Sirisena is saying that, of course, they are setting up their own internal mechanisms. They have asked the UN Human Rights Commissioner, in fact, to delay for some time the release of that report on that civil conflict so that they can go through their own internal processes. And, really the Tamil parties, the fishermen also have all been released. In fact, Sri Lanka showed that gesture once Mr. Sirisena took over. What Sri Lankans, in fact, might expect India to look into is the issue of trawlers really entering the shallow water areas in Sri Lanka, which is a problematic area, and they might request Mr. Modi to ask the Indian fishermen to really take to the deep waters, because then it becomes the issue of livelihood for the Sri Lankan fishermen, not just the Sinhalese, but even the Tamil fishermen in Sri Lanka, and that is also one of the issues that they will be discussing so that future problem areas can be addressed too.
Keep tracking that story, Smita. I will come back to you for more.